Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take a look at the Sorcerer tank build for Dragon's Bones DLC. This is a dungeon build and I do have a written guide on my website. I will also go a little bit more in depth than usual because it's a new build, so I don't want to miss any important information, so the video might be a little bit longer than usual. When we look at our stats, very nice resources and also nice resistance. We're using the Lord Mundus Stone, gives us a max health. In terms of buff food, you want to use tri-stat buff food, max health, magic and stamina, and tri-stat potions. Now, if you only want to use like health, magic or stamina potions separately, it's also fine. Those are just nice for the more difficult dungeons because they restore so much resources, especially because for a race, we are an Argonian. There is a lot of good races, but Argonian is the best in terms of tanking. You get more healing, then you have 9% max health, and then this. When you drink a potion, you restore 4.6k health, magic and stamina. So when let me just kinda kill my Magicka. Now when you look at my Magicka, it's quite low. And then I pop a potion. You have seen how much it instantly filled up, and that's the same for stamina. So it basically goes from 0 to like 70%, more or less, both for Magicka and stamina. That's why Argonians are so strong if you combine them with tri-stat potions. You also get a lot of health. Obviously, like Imperial, Red Guard, Orc, Kashyyyk also work, but Argonian will definitely be the easiest to manage your resources. I also highly recommend being a vampire because of the undeath passive. Just be careful. When you are stage 2, 3 or 4, you take increased fire damage. If there's a lot of fire damage going on, just keep that in mind. Maybe you want to reduce Vampire stage to stage 1 so you don't take any extra fire damage, but then you don't benefit from this passive. Just keep that in mind. Like I said, I do have tons of different gear setups and all that kind of stuff on my website. Make sure to go check it out, and also make sure to not forget to subscribe. More videos in the future. Now here I'm running the Eben Torux setup. In my opinion, those two sets are pretty easy to get. You have to farm Eben, but you also can do it in normal, wet, doesn't matter. And then Torux needs 3 traits to be craftable. It's also fairly easy to get. I do have more advanced setups on my website if you want to go check it out. As you can see, Eben, really good. It's a really nice group set. It gives more max health to all your group members, 1.1k. So the chance that they actually die is it's smaller. On top of that, we also use Aggressive Warhorn, so we get another 10% max health, so most people should be around 19 to 20k health, which is nice. I do use 3 block cost reduction shield play enchants here, very important, because blocking, especially if you face several targets, is quite costly, so make sure to have them. Torux Pact is the second set. Now, let me go to the weapon. This decreases weapon enchantment cooldown and increases the potency. Now, we can basically, the Crusher enchant debuffs enemy bosses with, it reduces the physical and spell resistance by 2.4k. And you can keep this almost up 100%. Same with Weakening enchant. Because the Torux Pact infused combo on both weapons is just so nice. You basically have no cooldown at all, and it's just so much. This Weakening enchant here basically reduces a boss's damage by I'm not 100% sure, but between 10 to 20%. So it's a lot. Make sure to have a reinforced chest. I do have tri-stat enchant on the big pieces. Infused on the other big pieces. Then on the small pieces you want health with sturdy. Yep. The last set, or maybe the shields, also make sure to have infused with Tri-Stat enchant. The last set is Swarm Modder. Now this is very nice. I will showcase you that later when we just kind of want to show you the healing and all that kind of stuff. When you block and the enemy is further than 5 meters away, you can pull mobs to you. And you basically don't feel the cooldown. It's so fast. So this is a really nice set. If you don't have problems stacking mobs, then you can use something else. Keep in mind, the build should function as a base, kinda get you going, and then you should experiment, test around, because that's how you really learn the class. If copy pasting, sure, the builds are nice, but not everybody has the same playstyle. That about Swarm Modders. Other than that, I think I covered everything. For the sets, in terms of champion points. 40 precise, then 73, 47. Make sure you have 120 points here, more or less. So you get Tactician. When you roll dodge, you set enemies off balanced. And then damage dealers usually have Exploiter CP perk, and they will deal more damage. I also do have a 300 CP setup on my website if you want to go check it out. 76 Bless to increase our healing. 81 Shadow Ward just to reduce the cost of block, it's really needed. Tumbling 44. 43, 19. Then we have 21, 21, 11. 13, 25, 9. You don't necessarily need in Bastion, but I just... like, I leave it there, doesn't matter. 49, 49, 28. One here, and most important, Ironclad. You need at least 66 points in here, because most attacks that enemies do in dungeons are direct damage hits, so you really want to make sure to have enough points here. In terms of skills, let's just quickly go through some interesting passives that Sorcs have. You see, Unholy Knowledge reduces magic and stamina cost. This is a very nice passive. Is there something else here? Now, this can also be nice. As you see, casting a dark magic ability grants minor prophecy to you and your group, increasing your spell critical by 657. That's like 2.5 or 3%, something like that. So we have Dark Deal here. When we activate this, I mean, now we have 22. It basically goes to 24.9. This can be helpful if you have Magicka deities in your group. Other than that, Power Stone, it reduces the ultimate cost. So for example, our main ultimate, Aggressive Warhorn, usually it costs 250. Now it only costs 213. So it's a huge decrease in cost. Expert Summoner increases your max health by 8% while you have a pet active. When I actually deactivate my pet, you can see I have like 38. Now I use it and it goes to 40.4k. That's another nice thing. Storm Calling, more magic recovery, not that interesting for us. This is also not. Now Implosion, this is another very nice passive. It scales off health. And it has two separate procs to it. The shock damage is Disintegration and the physical damage is Implosion. And both of them can proc at the same time as long as the enemy has below 15% health. And it can crit up to 40k. It's really, it's so strong. I will get to that later again. Other than that, there is nothing really interesting. Make sure to have all one hand and shield. Passives. In terms of armor, heavy armor, because we are running 5 heavy, 1 medium and 1 light, make sure to have Windwalker, get stamina cost reduction, and evocation to get Magicka cost reduction. Vampire, then fighter skill, major skill, undaunted, and because we have a 5-1-1 setup, see, we gain 6% max resources because we have a heavy type, light and medium type. That's something else very important to like get higher resources. Other than that, you need your racial passives and the medicinal use. This is very important. Level it up. It will increase the potion duration by 30%. Instead of 30 seconds, you have like 45, something like that. Now in terms of skills, keep in mind, this here, I will explain why I chose this certain setup. Nonetheless, test out other abilities, other skills, play with them around. Just want you to understand the kind of the main idea behind this Sorc tank build. So on the front bar we have Empowered Ward. This is mostly a support ability. You see, it grants minor intellect to you and nearby allies, increasing magic recovery by 10%. So if you have magical setups in your group, or even for the healer also, make sure you use this every 10 seconds to keep that nice recovery buff going. Plus, you see, your pet also gets shielded. Same for you, you also get shielded. So if a mob or if a boss hits you for like 20k, you have like a 7k shield. Only 13k will go to your health, so you kinda can bolster the hard hitting abilities. Dark Deal. This is a very dangerous ability. Because when you look, now I'm blocking, you see the shield symbol. When I use Dark Deal, the block is gone for like half a second to a second. That's something you need to remember. Don't use this when you're not sure you're gonna get hit hard. So basically, when a boss is about to do a really strong attack on you, don't use this. When the boss does light attacks or just very, like, doesn't hit hard, then you can use this. What does it do? You use up Magicka and you restore 10k health and 5k stamina. But that's a lot. When let me try to run around a little bit, lose stamina. Okay, now when you look, once the spell sim buff is gone, I activate this, and stamina and health will go up. This is another very nice tool to recover stamina and also health, but again, keep in mind you will drop block. So you really need to learn the different boss fights and know when you can drop block. Other than that, you see you have 40k health. You're not gonna die that easily. And if you're unsure whether you really will get hit by a hard hitting ability, you can use your shield first and then Dark Deal. So you bolster some of the damage. And with Dark Deal and Argonian Potion passive, you will never run out of sustain, trust me. So easy to sustain. Pierce Armor, your main taunt, also applies a debuff, Major Breach and Major Fracture to the enemy, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 5280. That's a huge damage increase for your damage dealers. Spell Symmetry. Now this is another very strong but also dangerous ability. Because you see, you trade 6k health for 3k Magicka. So this is nice. When we look, I go to 0 health, to 0 Magicka, I use this. And the Magicka goes up fast. This is how we sustain. We can always have Magicka with Spell Sim, and we always can have Stamina with Dark Deal. But again, those two abilities are also very dangerous. Now here, another thing to note with Spell Sim, after the exchange is complete, cost of the next magic ability is reduced by 28%. So when I, for example, look at the clan fee, it's so expensive, almost 6.8k. I use Spell Sim, it goes to 4.7k. Now this lasts for 6 seconds, and keep in mind, the exchange reduces your healing down and damage shield strength by 50%. For 4 seconds. So same thing, now my shield 7.6k, I use Spell Sim, I use shield 3.8. But then you can see, the cost reduction on magic ability holds 6 seconds, the debuff on your Sylph, which reduces healing and shield, only 4 seconds. Then nonetheless, if you want to use Spell sim and pet, spell sim and pet, you can do that. Because the pet heal is so freaking strong, you will not even notice that you're debuffed with this 50% healing thing. Another thing to note, an external healer, like the healer in your group or any other healing outside of you, will still heal you for the full amount. Debuff is only on you, reduces your healing down, not the other people's healing. That's why when you have a healer with healing springs on you, you can 24/7 this and not drop in health at all. Unstable Clan Fear, another very nice skill. You have to double slot it, but I really like it. You need to learn how to keep it alive. It might die from time to time, but if you use your empowered ward correctly, then it shouldn't die that much. You see, your Clan Fear to heal you and the Clan Fear for 35% of your max health. So when I drop, let me just go as low as possible. Then I will wait for the spell sim buff to go away. 2 skills, I'm back to 2 hits, I'm back to full health. It's so insanely strong. And even if you have the spell sim heal debuff on you, it doesn't matter. You see? It still heals for so much. So even that 50% heal debuff doesn't scratch you at all. Let me actually show you. So here you can see the Clan Fear kinda crit healed for 32k. That's so much. And if you have the 50% heal debuff, it's still 10 to 15k, so like it really doesn't matter. That's why I actually like using spell sim, pet, spell sim, pet. Because even though you have the heal debuff, it's still a really nice way to actually sustain your magicka almost at full and heal you for a ton all the time. Shield Discipline, this is only here, we only use this for oh crap moments. You see, your one hand and shield abilities costs are reduced by 100% while active. Only if you ever drop to 0 stamina, use this, because then you don't have to block and you can do heavy attacks to restore stamina for 7 seconds. This lasts 7 seconds. But we only, like our main ultimate is Aggressive Warhorn. As you can see, we get 10% max magicka, stam and health for 30 seconds for you and your group members. It's just a really nice buff. And then Major Force for 9.5 seconds, increasing critical damage done by 15%. So always when you can, use this ultimate. Boundless Storm. This needs to be up all the time because it gives us Major Ward and Major Resolve, increasing our physical resistance. You can see 22 and 20k. I pop this. 27, 25. This increases our damage mitigation. On top of that, we also get Major Expedition, increasing movement speed. And this is our main ability to proc the Implosion passive. Where are you? Like I said, this. When you deal shock damage, disintegrate. When you deal physical damage, you have pulverize. So yeah. And I can also show you, I think, here you see the implosion. This one, it's the physical damage part, 28k proc. And the other one here, the one that is yellow, is the shock proc, 26.5k. And that's me doing nothing and tanking. I just keep this ability up. And trash packs, when that thing hits, they will just rip so fast when they're below 15%. So it's also a nice way of actually contributing a little bit damage. Heroic Slash, minor maim on the boss or any mob at all, reducing the damage done by 15%. We have 15% here, and weakening enchant is another 15 to 20. So that's a lot of debuffs. So the boss does a lot less damage. On top of that, you get minor heroism, increasing your ultimate regeneration. Energy Orb. I use this because most of the times I don't see people using bubbles, whether be it the healer or the tank. It's just nice for the damage dealers to help them sustain, because when they pop the Symmetry, they get 4k magic or stamina back, depending whatever stat they have higher. In the range, this is our range taunt. Always use this one because you have a debuff attached to it. But yeah, if the mob is far away, use this. Then we have the pet again. But keep in mind another few options I want to mention, or good skills. Restraining Prison to root the enemies, and it snares them, so another nice thing. If you don't want the pet, you could run Bound Armor to increase your max stamina. But yeah, you also could run another like damage skill, just so like Implosion procs more. And another thing I forgot to mention is those two abilities also proc Concussion. When Concussion is applied to enemy, they receive 8% more damage. So overall, you have really nice like debuffs on the enemies and that kind of. If you want to use Negate as a healing ulti or something like that, you can use that. If you want to use Atronach, go for it. This is just my setup, and I explained you why I run it this way. To quickly showcase you how Swarm Mother works. So basically, when you block, to me. But this is a really nice way of like just pulling the mobs together. That's why I mostly use Swarm Mother. Now anyway, that's more or less it. If you have any questions, ask me in the comment section below. Make sure to not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.